everybody, welcome back to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I'm Peter.
And I'm Frank. And before we get started, shut up. I'm sorry.
Get a chance to say
I know. We didn't even get to say what we're doing. All right. No, I'm sorry. I should not have said shut up.
Damn it, Corky!
But I did. We'll blame it on Corky. So, all right. So I have a question for you.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Yeah, you think you're ready.
Shut up.
This is a really good one. Yeah, I know, right?
No, you're projecting.
So, no, You're Projecting was a rejected idea for the name of this show. So, little behind the scenes history there. So when we start doing Ticket Stubs and Popcorn Trivia, you know that that's a behind the scene thing, and our inept intern is Corky. And stop crying! God. Anyway, Craigslist.
I have to buy him an ice cream cone again. It's gonna
he gets so mad. There's no ice cream in it.
Yeah, no, just the cup. The empty cup.
You don't deserve ice cream yet.
It was funny.
Ice cream is for closers.
And the funny thing is, he fell for it like the first 6 times. There's nothing in there.
Oh.
Keeps coming back for more of that. Takes a lick and keeps on taking. Except there's no lick in there. There's no ice cream in the cone.
All right. My question is, speaking of evil, evil plans, evil plots that evil guys do that make no damn sense whatsoever. That when you're at the end of a movie and he's monologuing about what he's gonna do, you're just
oh boy,
yeah, that's an awful lot of work for not a lot of payoff there. You know?
All right, let me work on that.
So there's that. You do that. I'm going to start talking about.
We haven't even announced.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start talking about our actor today.
Okay,
we're going to do Bradley Cooper.
Bradley
Cooper. So you guys are going to like and subscribe, and you're not going to turn away from the show and go find us on Instagram and Facebook. You're going to wait, and then you're going to. Great. All right, cool. Bradley Cooper. So, Bradley Cooper, my top 3. I'm gonna start with American Hustle. Okay, love American Hustle because
I know you do.
I really do. I like that movie. And his role in there is he wants to be the good FBI agent. He's really trying very hard. Yes. And like he's frustrated that the powers that be around him are just like. Yeah, you're not gonna, get the big arrests with the senators and this one and everything. Right. You're gonna end up getting a mayor in New Jersey. Yes. And it's not small fry, but it's not the big fish either. It's just not what he wants. Fry. Yeah, it really is. And you almost feel bad for him when Amy Adams' character is just like, no, dude, I've been playing you the whole time because he has genuine feelings for her. Yes, and his enthusiasm for this operation, and he really does. He wants to be the law and order guy, and this is where he sees I'm going to get some bad guys because they're doing bad stuff. But his Louis C.K. as his boss is just like, no, I'm not going to let you do this. It's got to go over his head. And so he just plays that sincere super cop or wannabe super cop, but he's very sad kind of at the end, and just his naivete just sort of comes streaming through like, oh buddy, and kudos to Bradley Cooper for wearing the permed hair. Oh yeah, that was bold. Yeah. That's almost as bold as Javier Bardem and No Country for Old Men. Yes, that's just so. Yeah, that's a great role. When he just there's one point where things are just going badly, and he thinks that things are going to be better if he and Amy Adams have sex. He's just like, please, it's going to solve all problems. Exactly, and it's going to make me feel better, and everything will be great if we just do this thing. And he just wants some sort of payoff for all the effort. And it's just not going to happen. The poor guy. You end up the perm. Well, the thing is, it's the perm. You end up kind of feeling bad for him because he doesn't. He wants to get the bad guys. He doesn't really get the bad guys. So the ultimate victim in all this is the Jeremy Renner
yes.
character, who really does just want to help his community. So,
Right,
but it's
right,
interesting because
right.
like the two characters in this movie who really want to do what they're supposed to be doing, you know, Bradley Cooper's needs to be catching
Right.
bad guys. Jeremy Renner wants to help the community,
Right.
and they both get
Yeah.
screwed over.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
and
it's definitely interesting to think
definitely
about that movie.
great role.
And it's got great. There's a lot of, what lack of a better, lot of powerhouse
Oh
performances
God,
in that movie.
yeah, there really is. Yeah, it's a great movie,
Yeah.
fantastic. My next Bradley Cooper one, relatively small role that that one might forget he was in. But I think that he's great because he's like a little bit crazy, and he maintains that little bit crazy the entire time you see him. Is in Wedding Crashers.
Oh yes,
He plays the brother, and he's just like frightening, like he's just one of these intense, like frat bro type of guys. And he's just like, but he's got that maddening intensity. And he just wants to, he literally just wants to punch someone and, I don't know, develop a mall in the wetlands or something like that. He's just really kind of that guy. And it's literally the first time. I think it's one of Bradley Cooper's earlier roles, but he does stand out, and he plays it so well. Just that intense.
You know, I haven't seen the movie in a few years, and I should see that one again.
Well, I think what ends up happening is Vince Vaughn and is that Luke? Which Owen? Owen. God damn it!
Yeah.
And one of them.
Wilson.
Exactly. And Will Ferrell, they all get the, you know, whenever that movie becomes a part of the conversation, you know, it's all about meatloaf, you know? But very few people kind of remember Bradley Cooper just, you know, being all super fucking crazy. So, and then my next one, and this is one of those rare things where when you see him, it's not him, it's him in Guardians of the Galaxy. As Rocket.
We overlap on this one.
Okay, great. Because what I love about that is not only is the voice work fantastic because he gets to be big and kind of crazy, but still there's vulnerability they built into this character and that they took the time to show.
Yeah.
And you can get that from a voice performance. It's so great.
Yes.
And what I really love about it is when you watch some of the behind the scenes stuff. And you see him.
Oh, that I actually
That's
haven't
just
seen.
Great.
That.
It just sort of makes you like it even more because he is all about his body and
sure. Well, he's a serious actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. And
yeah.
So I can.
And that's what's so
that.
great about bringing in a serious actor.
Yes.
To that role.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
That's my Bradley
Very
Cooper.
Very good, Bradley Cooper.
So,
maybe we just take this time for a split second to just remind people, like and subscribe.
Please. Thank you.
Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. We're there.
All right.
Who
do you got?
I'm just going to start off with one of my picks Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'll just piggyback on because you just finished with it. I'll start with it then. What I find is two things I find just compelling about that. One of them is he just does an incredible job.
Yeah.
He gets into it. He's got this, you know, this character Rocket. We don't see him. Most of the other people, they may have makeup, CGI, whatever, but you don't really catch his face. You know, look, it's his face and fur. No, we don't get any of that. So it's all his voice, and he really gets his performance out there, strictly by his voice, and it is sometimes a little over the top because you know he's that raccoon shaped looking alien. That's all I got.
What's a raccoon?
Yeah, exactly. What's a raccoon? All right, get the squirrel out of here. That sort of stuff. But the thing that really it really caused me to think a lot was that watching the movie, watched it for the first time. I didn't know that was Bradley Cooper.
That's...
And you get to the end, and I'm looking at the credits, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey, come backwards, backwards! What was that? That was Bradley Cooper.
Can you rewind the movie?
Yeah, and I was amazed, and that said something else to me. There's been a history, whether it was TV or movies, but there's been a history of actors on one side and voice actors, people who did voice work, animated, whether they were doing commercials, there was this other thing, those people who you never saw on screen. Those voice actors were very accomplished, but rarely seen.
Recognized,
And so...
Not until, I think, like the 80s.
Yeah, and
maybe,
so
when it started to be like a name in this movie.
And so it went from talented, known in their own little niche, but they were voice actors, and that was different. A voice actor was different. And there were people who were very famous, Mel Blanc and so forth, that sort of thing. But they didn't, hardly ever did it cross over to the other side. And the actors hardly ever would cross over, unless they were like a character actor, and then they sometimes did something. But now we've gotten to the point when if you want Eddie Murphy, you have to hear Eddie Murphy's voice. And it's like, that's Eddie Murphy. That's Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes doesn't try to hide the fact that that's Wanda Sykes.
And
front and center.
These more well-known people end up being a draw to the movie.
And that is the draw itself, is the fact that so-and-so's in the movie and they're basically just acting but using their own voice. They aren't trying to hide their thing. So when you get Mater in Cars, it's Larry the Cable Guy. It's not Larry the Cable Guy doing a voice, it's Larry the Cable Guy talking. I mean, maybe a little nuance here and there, but for the most part, people just... There is no nuance.
There's no nuance to Larry the Cable Guy.
So you get that person's
Which is
voice.
Not really a sentence I ever thought I would have to say. Explaining the absence of nuance with Larry the Cable Guy. Yes, I speak with derision. Sorry.
I blame Corky. He wrote the
Nope, I don't blame Corky. That's all me. Why is Corky asleep?
Tell me about it. So you get this character, and Bradley Cooper is willing to put his own spin on it and completely hide his voice. And that to me was like, oh my God, that was a great acting job. But then the fact that it was somebody who we knew, but I couldn't tell until I got to the end. I didn't know in advance. Sometimes, we hear things in advance. So-and-so's in the movie and he plays it. I didn't even know that going in. So,
well, they have this thing called the internet, where you can hear about stuff.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just a fad.
You're just making up
Don't worry
words.
about it. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be around.
You're just making up words now, aren't you?
No,
this makes no sense.
All words are made up. Go ahead. What's your next, Bradley Cooper?
Oh, Bradley Cooper. We're back to Bradley Cooper.
He's on the internet.
He's not on the internet, is he?
Oh, he is. That was really super creepy. Oh, my God. Youch. Go ahead. A little too much about me there.
Okay. So, a second movie that I like him in is The Hangover.
Okay.
When you watch the movie, there's a lot to like. There's great little roles here and there. And of course, when the movie came out, Zach Galifianakis got just a big bump from this movie.
Oh yeah.
And for lots of good reasons, valid reasons. His character is different. We'll just leave it at that. The Bradley Cooper character, I like this character because he's kind of smarmy. He's a good-looking guy. He's a school teacher. I think he thinks he can solve stuff easily because smart guy. I'm a school teacher.
The guy thinks he's like Face from the A-Team.
He's smarmy. He's a little bit of that going on.
That's a funny joke because he plays
the part
in an A-Team movie. That's what makes it funny. Oh, we're having fun.
I pity the fool who came up with that line.
Seriously.
But this Bradley Cooper character, I want to say his name is Phil. I could be wrong.
Why not?
I'm making this up
now.
now.
Kind of an everyman.
So what's funny is in the movie, which is hilarious and definitely has its moments, is when the groom, the friend of the other, there's four of them, the groom is the one that ends up missing. And he's probably the only nice person, nice guy, anyway, out of that group of four that go to Vegas for the weekend. So he goes missing, and of course the three remaining ones have no memory, no recollection of anything of what happened the night before. So it makes it much more difficult now to trace where is their friend. Yeah. And also there's that responsibility that since the one who's missing is the groom, they have to bring him back in time. And there's a time limit. You got to get him and all this stuff. But you almost get the feeling that the Bradley Cooper character thinks I should be able to resolve this problem. I'm Bradley Cooper. Nice. Or I'm Phil, whatever. There's no problem. Look, I'm a good-looking guy compared to these other two guys. I got a nice, smooth way of talking. I can solve these problems. Yeah, and he really does it. He's not and so I kind of like that fact that it's not just yes, it's a comedy. It can be over the top. And there's a couple of cameos in there. And like I said, Zach Galifianakis' character is just...
my favorite Mike Tyson movie.
It's a great performance. Great performance by Mike Tyson. And I'm not even sure it is a performance, but it's Mike Tyson. And it's great. It's a fun movie, but I like the fact that the Bradley Cooper, we've seen him in so many, I'm not going to say real movies where he's, really putting himself out there. He's does a good job in this thing, and that's its own little role and its own little movie, and it was kind of refreshing in a different way to see him keeping his character, going, but still kind of in check because of the Zach Galifianakis character, which is wonderful. Anyway, it's just its own thing, and but I just liked the movie. I thought it was very funny, and that was one of those movies that I did not expect to laugh nearly as much as I did. You know what I mean? When I went to see it, I was like, oh, this is actually better than I thought. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm lukewarm on that movie.
Okay.
I'm it's fine.
No, see, I liked it more than just fine. Of course, it has been a little while since I've seen it. Was there a reason for 2 and 3? We've talked before, or sometimes sequels. About sequels. Yeah. It's good. You don't need to make lightning strike second times, and you don't. Why bother reinventing it? It was just be happy
because it's a built-in audience. And,
Yeah, I know it, but just
art is commerce.
Yes, I know it.
I learned that from
now more than
Corky.
He said that. And okay, so that's my third one would be American Sniper. And
was pretty good.
This one,
it's pretty intense.
It can be intense, yeah, and it doesn't matter where you fall, either politically or morally.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about that. It's just it's an intense film. I want to say it's a Clint Eastwood movie, but he kind of shows both sides, and that's cool. But the Bradley Cooper, he has a gift. He's honed marksman, and he can hit a target from quite a distance. So that just makes him
his performance
even more
in that
special.
Is really fantastic.
And so he's got the whole problem about the stress, the traumatic stress. Is he doing the right thing? There are people who in theory, are the bad guys, and he needs to protect, the good guys, and he needs to protect his own people. And because he's at a distance, he has to make these decisions. They, give them targets, and there are some times where they could be a woman or a child, who are still trained to do bad things, but it still reeks with his mind and his conscience and things like that. And then so there's that, and then of course he's internalizing a lot of stuff. He sees a lot of his, his friends, his comrades, not make it back. And so when he does get home, and then he'll always re-up. He takes 4 tours of duty. I could be wrong on the number, but he goes back home a little bit, but he keeps going back. But it's like there's this big disconnect. When he's home, he's distant. He's not home. It's not just like falling into place. And so it's just good. Like he's vulnerable in that sense. So it's intense. And then of course when he is back too, tries to help other veterans, the ones who are struggling even more than he is with post-traumatic stress syndrome. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. So it's a pretty intense thing, and I like that performance.
Yeah,
it shows this other side, and it's not a clear thing like good, bad, right, wrong.
No, it highlights the gray, I think.
Yeah, and it's a struggle for him.
Yeah,
and it probably is with a lot of people in that situation. But so I liked that performance of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good,
and he's just a very good actor. And you would know that there's a lot going on in his preparation. You could tell he does a lot. And there's a bunch of other movies that I know we could have even picked too.
Yeah.
He's in a lot. He was great in The Mule, which is another Clint Eastwood one, where he's another agent, ATF or whatever the drug. You know what I mean? And that whole thing too, where he's
not as sort of sad sack as he ends up in.
No, but though he's still trying to do the right thing. Yeah. He just can't figure out like who is, what I mean, and like this old man is. This doesn't make sense.
No, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah. So there's a few of those other ones that were like in contention, we'll say, and I just couldn't, well, something's got to give. You can only pick 3.
Yeah. All right. Like and subscribe. Thanks very much. And I asked you a question.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me just recap.
Oh yeah, I always forget to recap.
No problem.
We'll just attention to what's going on
we'll
around.
Just jump into this one. Your 3 picks for Bradley Cooper were American Hustle.
Yeah.
Then we overlapped on one of them, and that was Guardian of the Galaxy. And your third one was Wedding Crashers.
All right. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, you had American Sniper, Guardians, and
it's the one that you didn't like. Yeah, that's probably why you're blocking.
That's because I'm hungover. So
Could
it was the hangover.
You got it.
I'm kidding. I'm not hungover. I'm still drunk.
He is.
That's the trick. Anyway, so I asked you a question.
You asked me this question.
Evil plots that, quite frankly, make no damn sense.
Okay, there's. I know there's a bunch out there, but I was under the gun, and I'm struggling a little bit. But one that I never quite understood, and it could be the reason why there haven't been more movies of this one.
All right.
This is like the middle 80s.
Okay.
Supergirl.
Okay.
Do you remember that? Helen Slater is in it.
Yeah, I saw it once.
Okay, Faye Dunaway.
What's her plot?
Is the bad person.
Baddie.
Okay, now I've seen this once, like whatever, 38 years ago. I have no idea
Right.
You know, if I'm really recalling
what's the
this,
plot as you remember?
It's always disturbed me because it just never made sense.
I don't remember it well enough. What was she trying to do?
All right, there's something about, there's like a power source, a thing that is like in this, you know, phantom zone or whatever you want to call it. It's all like floating on the thing. And somehow that gets loose, released, whatever, and it makes its way to Earth. And this thing is supposed to be powerful. So then Supergirl has to leave this safe zone or whatever to retrieve this thing and bring it back. So it comes to Earth, and the Faye Dunaway character is, I'm pretty sure I got this, but I never got it. If you know what I mean. It's that she's I want to say, for lack of a better term, an amateur witch.
Okay.
So she really doesn't have any powers or anything like that.
Okay, so she's
but she fancies herself
like
to be
a lot of people in Salem, Massachusetts.
You got it. She fancies herself to be a witch.
For that, I'm sure.
So that's what she is. But now with this newfound power source,
in her defense, it is tough when the witches want to turn pro. So, you know, you have to have so many like titles in the
education.
Thing.
You have to get your credits.
You have won so many things, and you can't.
It pushes you into another bracket.
And were you, you know, were you a college witch? You know, that kind of thing. So, because that's usually the way you go to try and turn pro. So it's all very political.
And it's exactly. It's all who you know.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So
she there's gets a power thing.
So now she has this newfound power. So now she really does have magic where she really didn't before.
Okay.
So now she does that magic. So now she's got this power and all this, and all it seems that she wants to do is you know, keep this power and make the gardener or groundskeeper or whatever fall in love with her. And then she wants to like proclaim herself to be like, you know, queen of the world or princess of the world. And I just, and all, you know, Supergirl wants us to get this source back. And then, you know, something else comes and is summoned to fight Supergirl. But I just remember thinking, am I getting this right? Or am I like not?
I have to watch this movie again because
and I'm like, am I not understanding this? But this is a stupid plan. All she wants is to have the gardener fall in love with her and to serve her and to, you know, have this title of whatever it is, Queen of the World or Princess of the World or something. And I just remember thinking, yeah, no wonder that one never panned out and had a second episode or a second, you know, sequel or something. But and they were trying to, or it was, I guess, tied in with the original, you know, the original Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
It was tied into that universe.
Because she's like his cousin.
Yeah, cousin, but it just never.
I have problems with Superman to begin with.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm not even
But I just meant like that was one of those.
That is
like,
a very weird one.
I never understood it.
Yeah.
I haven't mulled on it too much, but I do think
the first thing that comes to mind for me is in Star Wars, like, and there's way too much to go into because I understand like all the little pieces or most of the little pieces as they start to come out, how Palpatine really kind of wanted to put his thing in place over the course of like 60 some odd years.
Yes.
But I guess the one part of it that bugs me the most is why the Clone Wars thing. Like he had everything in place to take out the Jedi, like pretty early on. Like once they activated the clones, at any point he could have been like, all right, Order 66, take out the Jedi, and I'm going to check. But, like, there's this war that goes on for some reason. So, like, we needed to create the Separatists so that the Republic would come up and fight the Separatists. So that's one big one. That sort of
is left,
gets in my way.
To chance.
But it's just like an awful lot of, like, it's like if I wanted to, like, get downstairs, all right? And I just started doing that by going to those bookshelves behind Corky, finding a way to climb across the wall.
Or maybe go out a window, too. Just in case it's a bad thing. Like, in case the senatorial vote doesn't go the right way.
All this stuff, one, it's just a lot of stuff to do to put in place. Two, there's a million places along the way where things could have gone awry. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I look at someone like Thanos, and it's just like,
he's got a plan.
This guy's got a plan.
Oh, he's got a plan.
He's got a plan. I mean, in a way, it doesn't make a lot of sense because, great, you're going to cut things down by half.
Yeah, but he's still pretty serious about it. He knows how he's going to do it, and he also knows I can do it.
Or how about, though, going the other way and you snap your fingers and, you increase the universe's resources. But whatever, you didn't ask me. Just, for some reason, like, resources there's not enough resources, but I can magically destroy half of everything, with a snap of my fingers, but I can't make more salad. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't get it, but whatever. But the Palpatine, like why the Clone Wars? It just didn't. And I look forward to the comments when people tell me what an idiot I am. Tell me why I'm wrong. Please explain to me why the Clone War was necessary. I understand it was necessary because
he's going to geek out
in
on
A New Hope, when Obi-Wan says, "Yeah, I fought with your dad in the Clone Wars," so now they've got to come up with a Clone Wars thing. I don't know, man. It's always bugged me. Like, okay, you see the prequels, Jar Jar go to hell and Jake Lloyd, wow. But you're just like, okay.
You're hating on a 5-year-old boy now. Come on.
No, and I don't completely blame him. I blame him a little bit. It's a direct.
I agree with children.
George Lucas's fault, and I thank the man profusely for this universe.
Oh yeah,
and that it exists. Thank you. But the Jar Jar thing was weird, but I get it. But I respect him because he made the movies he wanted to make, and so there's that.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand why. Like, I went through like all of that, Attack of the Clones, and I'm like, so he's gonna. So we got these guys and Dooku, and this is all. But like, why? It's like It's like
what exactly is holding this all together?
Like
this plan?
Bane's plan in Batman, which was like, what was that? Another Batman villain that made no damn sense was in the
Tell me more.
You are wound up. I am on a rant. When Christopher Walken is playing Max Schreck.
Corky, quick with that tranquilizer.
Max Schreck, and instead of creating this power station, Selena Kyle figures out that it's more like a capacitor, it's more like a battery, so it's saving energy, it's pulling energy in, and she tries to kill her for that. But like, what's your plan, man? Like, what is happening? Because all that gets sort of weird with the Penguin running from air. But I'm like, wait a minute. So your plan is to just make a big ass battery? I don't get it, man.
Wait a minute. Now, speaking of Batman, how about the Mr. Freeze and the Poison Ivy?
But you know what? Don't even talk about the movies.
They're like talking about working together, maybe. Okay, because they got a common. Well,
are we talking about the Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Yeah. No, you know what?
If they're gonna work together, one of them wants this perfectly verdant green planet.
Yeah. And the other
we can just imagine that that's the Poison Ivy, hope. And Mr. Freeze, hope, his utopia is going to be, no, we'll just have a new ice age and freeze. So they come to this little agreement that, they could work together. Now I'm thinking, wait a minute. How does the end game for either one of you work together?
How do you two compromise? But the thing is, there is no, you know what though? To take that movie and go after the plot is probably the most generous route to crapping all over that movie. It really is.
Oh no, I know it.
On that list of things wrong with that movie,
there is a lot not to like.
The plot is probably one of the...
It's strong point.
Right, exactly. It's one of its strongest points.
It's just like...
Because really, like, the Mr. Freeze kind of, like, story is actually kind of sad. Take it down a minute. You know, because he wants to, you know, like, save his wife and that whole thing That's really rather sad. His intentions are noble. His execution is kind of messed up. But, you know... Anyway, all right, folks, we've went off the rails. Field on now. I went a little further than I intended. My God. So anyway, let's do the bucket. We should probably talk about what we're going to do next. Wow.
If only we did have a little popcorn and just slowed it down.
Seriously,
and just kind of like.
This is why.
There we go.
We should always. All right, have a glass of wine while I'm doing this. All right, that'll be good. That'll be fun.
I hope so.
So.
All righty, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All right.
I wasn't supposed to say that out loud, was I? Yeah, exactly. Only as Mr. Freeze.
Anyway, all right, folks, this has been insane. So thank you for watching.
It's been
thank
a
you
thrill
for
ride.
Subscribing and liking and going to Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And for some reason, I'm now.
I don't know what's going on over
Chuck
there.
Harris, and I'm like, all right,
that's
everybody.
Right. Hey, everybody.
Have a great show. Thanks for watching.
Gene the Dancing Machine.
Thanks for ticket stubs and popcorn. Thanks for I said thanks for the show, basically. Thanks for watching the show. And all right, we're going to try to get back on the rails.
And
so,
I think I'm just going to stand over there now.
That's it. That's great. Corky, stop crying. Bye.